that, but like someone average saying that, it's like,
right.
he's like, there is nothing else that's going to wake up this human race and unite us besides some big fucking catalyst, and it's probably not going to look good. But that's what it takes.
I feel like everybody knows it now.
Everybody knows because it keeps going. And it continues.
And that's what I felt with, like, because this whole Saturn and Pisces thing were, like, you know, besides the water events and all this stuff, like, it was coming to me a lot of, like, you know, Saturn going through Pisces is very much like clearing the Atlantean timeline to me, because that was what began the Age of Pisces. That downfall, that explosion, that entered the Dark Ages, pretty much. So it's like Saturn has been correcting this timeline. It's like, if we really just break down what happened in Atlantis, like, there's a lot of facets to it, but it's like, what happened? We just allowed fuckery to happen. You know, like, I think there was a lot of good Atlanteans who were wanting to evolve, and that was the whole point of the experiment, was like, can we help them evolve? Yeah, evolve. But somewhere along the line, everybody just let fuckery happen. And they were externalizing everything. Became all about gold and the temples and the hierarchies. It's the same shit now. It's the same fucking shit now. So it's like, we're just going to get a lesson 2.0, because we're not going to repeat Atlantis. But, I think we're going to get, like, a really fucking harsh lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's interesting of, like, a lot of people will see Neptune as the divine mother energy. So we talk about how interesting it is that 5 minutes before going into Aries, Neptune's like, nope. And if that represents the divine mother, what does mom want us to learn? What lessons are not done with Pisces yet? That it's not gonna happen till next year now. Like, we obviously have not finished these lessons, like you're saying. Saturn is also in Pisces, showing us, like, we haven't learned these lessons. Right. And Neptune is being like, it's mom being like, I'm also not going to allow it. You know, we need things to change before we get the change of energy, because it's water. It's very feminine. It's the end of the zodiac, and Neptune in Aries is very masculine, very fire. And in that way can be very out of control in a masculine energy sense. We haven't earned it. We haven't earned Neptune in Aries and Saturn,
because they're linked together,
right?
Which is interesting, because I wrote down the dates of when everything is going to, like, be shifting. Okay, so Neptune enters Aries on March 30th. And then Saturn enters on May 24th.
So they're, like, kind of following each other.
So they're following each other. So they'll be conjunct, because Neptune moves so slow. So she'll only be, like, maybe 1 or 2 degrees in by that time, by Saturn enters. So, like, there's going to be a constant conjunction with Saturn and Neptune.
And then does Saturn go retrograde back into Pisces at some point next year? Because I've seen a lot of people say Saturn doesn't change signs till 2026. So I was just wondering.
Let's see what in 2025 what it will be in. So Saturn will go retrograde on July 12th. So maybe it doesn't go back in. Looks like it doesn't.
Retrograde into so it won't change. So
I don't feel so. Let's see, Saturn. It'll retro. Oh, you're right. It will go back to 25 degrees Pisces.
And then fully move in 2026.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing of, like, Saturn going back to Pisces next year. It's like, if we don't learn whatever is going to unfold this year, Saturn will bring it back one more time. Neptune will be into Aries, and that won't change. But Saturn is going to be, like, that will be, like, the last testing for the collective of these Pisces energies,
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, like, the Saturn and Pisces thing, because, and the other thing that I was thinking about when you're talking about, like, we haven't earned the Neptune in Aries yet. Like, for me, visually, when Neptune enters Aries, it's like, we look at Neptune being, like, the divine mother, like, spiritual God source energy, then it's like, Neptune in Aries is like, you are God with God. Because Aries is all about the self. And, like, being sovereign. So it's kind of like, that is the era of really being God with God. But we haven't earned that yet because the Neptune in Pisces is still, again, bringing us to the point of, one, you can't be God without God.
Mm-hmm.
And for most people, they haven't quite put the pieces together yet that, like, God is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least there is a feminine aspect of God. They haven't fucking got that bit yet. So they can't possibly step into Neptune and Aries. And second of all, there's still this deep fucking savior victim religious complex, and until that is dissolved, because if that isn't dissolved by the time Neptune shifts into Aries, what a shit
it's just going to be a very what we're experiencing, what we talked about this summer. It's going to be very psychosis-y, because if you're not prepared for that level of embodiment, it drives you to an insanity point where you can't integrate it.
Exactly.
So
and I feel that's what's happening with this, like, 30-day severing thing between these full moons. And, that's what we were talking about, was like, it's time. Like, it really is, like, the cracks in the ground is the perfect analogy for it. It's like there's these cracks in the ground that are going like this, and a lot of people have one foot on each side, and they're just going to get split apart. Like, you got to jump to one side, bro. Got to pick one, and that split is going to get so thick that it's going to be a hard leap from one side to the other.
I know.
But